Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today we want to share to you about the preferred share. Either it's permissible or prohibited. Let's go.
Usually they have two types of share. First is ordinary share and second is the preferred share. For the ordinary share, dividend is based on the profit. But for the preferred share, the dividend is fixed. For usually the dividend is calculated for the surplus for the preferred share will get to the ordinary share. And second is about the voting. For the voting, right, for ordinary share they have voting right, but for the preferred share they have no voting right. Usually for the ordinary share, the person in the ordinary share from the organisasi, but from the ordinary share from the public.
Preferred share. Is there any issue or not? Yes, there are two issues in the preferred share. The first one is actually the preferred share already opposite with the basic concept of the musyarakah. When we say this musyarakah is on the share between two people or more. So in musyarakah, if the company get profit, both of the shareholder get profit, and when the company lose, both of the shareholders must bear to the loss. So in the preferred share, if the company get profit, all the shareholder get profit, but when the company get loss, only ordinary share bear the loss, while the preferred share not bear the loss. Why this is happen? So the second issue is guarantee of the profit. Let I say before, when the company lose, only the ordinary share will bear the loss. And in case of preferred share, if the company lose this year, in case of the cumulative preferred share, they will not get the dividend this year, but they will get double for the next year. So this is unfair. What we can see this, the guarantee of the profit is similarity to the riba. So the legality, we want to talk about the legality. Either the preferred share is permissible or not by the financial institution that let's see. Okay, the first one is IOF. IOF did not permissible the preferred share. What the reason? Because they said that the priority that given to the preferred share when the date of dividend distribution and the date of liquidation of company asset, the preferred share will get first, and the ordinary share will get after the preferred share get. The second one is Majma' Ulama in the conference in 1992 also not permissible the preferred share. Why? The reason is the guarantee of the profit that's similar to the riba. But the Security Commission by the Sharia Advisory Council of Security Commission stated that the preferred share is permissible, but only if they follow the condition, which is the first one is the preferred share must be non-cumulative preferred share, and the second one must be based on the tanazul and stated in the agreement.
There are two concepts that can be applied to make preferred share permissible. First, tanazul, and then hibah muallaqah. Tanazul is mean waiving, or the other words that contain the same meaning is isqat. Technically, tanazul and isqat mean the waiving right of the ownership. So there is some situation that tanazul apply in preferred share. First situation, tanazul granted by the ordinary shareholder to the preferred shareholder. Ordinary shareholder give the priority to the preferred shareholder to get the dividend first. The second situation is the preferred shareholder perform tanazul in limiting their dividend to the certain rate. For example, 4%. Even though the company can give the dividend up to 10%, the preferred shareholder still can only get the dividend up to 4% only, and then the excess of the 60% will be given to the ordinary shareholder and divided by them equally. The third situation is it is the same as the first situation about the preferential rights. In the third situation, it is granted by the ordinary shareholders to the preferential holder in the situations of winding up faced by the company. So the preferential holder will get the priority to regain their capital, their contribution capital, and then after the preferential holder get their contribution capital, only then the ordinary shareholder will get their capital if there is balance. And the last situation is the tanazul granted by the preferential holder to the ordinary shareholder in terms of voting right and administrate the company. So the applications of tanazul is argued by the most of the scholar. They said upfront tanazul is not permissible because the transferring of ownership of something that not exists yet. But Maliki school of thought said it is permissible because they said it is same to the essential of tanazul in the wasiyah. When the deceased want to give wasiyah to the third party over the limit, which is 1/3 of his estate, they should ask permission from his legal head, which is at that time legal head doesn't have the ownership on the estate yet. It is permissible of upfront tanazul. So with that reason, Maliki school of thought said it is permissible to apply upfront tanazul in preferred share. Okay.
As explained earlier by our friend about tanazul, hibah also applies in preference shares. Hibah mean tamlikul aini bidun al-awal, that mean transferring ownership of an asset without any reward. So this hibah applies when the company fail to declare dividend because of loss or dividend that did not reach the target. So we will discuss the debate among scholars about hibah muallaqah, whether it is permissible or not. Many scholars such Imam Malik, Imam Hanafi and Imam Hanbali said that it is valid and binding, while otherwise Imam Shafi'i, some scholars from Hanbali school of thought and Mazhab Zahiri say that it's not binding, it's not valid. So Imam Ibn Qayyim and Imam Ibn Taymiyyah strictly argue that because from the principle of qawaid fiqhiyah, al-aslu fi asya'il ibahah, the origin of any hukum is permissible. So when they want to say that hibah muallaqah is not valid, they must come with evidence from Al-Quran and Sunnah. That's for me. Thank you.
For conclusions, when we apply the concept of tanazul and hibah as a benchmark for profit sharing for profit, so preference share is permissible. That's all. Thank you.